the so-called machine learning per se, but before we go into that in depth, we're gonna start with again a little bit more of the familiarization of the Python environment, the Jupyter Notebook. It's really, and I'm trying to get you to actually be comfortable with the environment. We're gonna start with a project called Iris project, but before we start into the machine learning, dwell into it deeply, I just want to actually explain to you a couple of libraries that we do make use of quite extensively, as well as some of the data analysis that you need to do before going into full-on into the machine learning modeling itself. So let's just select this project, Iris project, and get started. I've titled this as Iris project. We're going to start with simple data exploration and analysis. Couple of things that we're doing, and also the so-called library that we make use of. NumPy is the first one, followed by pandas as well as Seaborn. NumPy is the numerical Python. If I come here and say NumPy, there is actually a website dedicated to NumPy, and it shows you how to make use of API, what it is, and how to utilize it fully. So that's really the NumPy itself. The documentation is very extensive. It's really well supported. It is a mature, it is a very mature library. So I highly encourage you to actually make use of it and become familiar with it. It's really critical when it comes to be it data science, data analysis, analytics, or even machine learning. The second one is pandas. Pandas. Let me just pull that up. Pandas. Not the actual animal itself. Pandas is really instrumental in propelling Python to become in the forefront of data analysis. So it is an open source, it is free for you to make use of, and again, this is really well supported. The documentation is great, and you can actually make use of it. Right now the version is still 0.25, it is still in the beta stage. Not quite completely rolled out yet, but there's a lot of functionalities that is highly useful. Again, this is good for performing analysis on tabular structured data. So that's the Python data analysis library. And Seaborn is the third library that we're going to make use of. And let me just pull that up. Seaborn is short for statistical data visualization. As you can see very quickly here, it renders really beautiful chart, and that's the reason why we are making use of it. It's just really handy for this purpose rather than having to actually code it out. The last library is the Matplotlib. It's also a visualization library. Seaborn is a higher level library which actually make use of Matplotlib. Matplotlib has been around for quite some time. It is useful, it is highly flexible and extremely powerful. The only problem with that is whenever you have anything that's highly useful or highly functional and highly customizable, there are a lot of customization function there, it gets a bit complicated to learn. So let me just open this up. Matplotlib. So visualizations for plot, as you can see, this is under version 3.1.1. It's already mature, it's no longer a beta, it's full on for you to be able to use. And Seaborn is still 0.9. Okay, so looking at this, with the first few things that we're doing here is that we are importing NumPy, and we call it NP. Okay, rather than typing NumPy fully, we use the notation, shorter notation called NP, so that it's actually simplified substantially. And this is the custom notation. Pandas is denoted as PD, Seaborn as SNS, and we import matplotlib.pyplot, the sublibrary, as PLT, and there's a few codes here just setting the actual default and plotting the Matplotlib inline so that we can actually see it within the Jupyter Notebook itself. As before, we click play to run one cell. Okay, oops, we have one problem. Well, this is part of the plan to show you how to actually deal with these things as and when it comes out. So what it says is this, or the error is meant to be informative to a large extent. If you get stuck, you can either Google it to find out how to solve this problem, or if you can understand the English or what the error message is trying to inform you, then you probably can actually solve that yourself as well. Right, it says here, module not found error. Traceback, okay, the traceback basically tells you which line of code actually is giving you the trouble. So line 1 says import numpy as np, so basically it's saying that we don't have a module named numpy. Now I'm going to show you two ways to solve this. I'm going to copy this single cell, come to Google and search. Right, well I didn't really copy it, did I? So let me just copy, let's see, Control C. If that still doesn't work, I'm going to have to move to the next. Okay, there we go. Control C. Right, import error, no module name numpy. So you can actually quite often for open source library like mature library like Python, Pandas, and its well-used library, you will have people posting questions in Stack Overflow, and this is where you can actually find answer to this. Basically, no module found. This is probably super basic, but I'm still learning. Thanks. Okay, it says here check if there's a directory, blah blah, and the next one is to begin with, you must download and install a newer version of NumPy. So very quickly, just by reading this, it's already informing you that you need to install it. If you don't have, you need to install it. Okay, you can either use this or this to install it. Okay, great. All right, so we roughly get an idea that okay, we need to install this. Okay, but wait a second. These answers were given quite a wee while back. This is 2011. This is 2017, 2016. So is there a newer answer? Well, the new answer is probably exactly the same. Okay, there are some conda installed, and suddenly you realize, okay, my goodness, they are like, you know, for the same one question, there are so many solutions to it, and you have to get used to this. This is actually a common phenomenon when you're actually dealing with open source library. You need to actually quickly sift through it. Don't get overwhelmed by it. I know you will in the beginning, but as you do more and more, you'll come to the realization that this is some of the barriers that you have to get through or get past to actually be comfortable with using this open source library. It is free after all. It does come at a cost. Okay, so we're stuck here. So what do we do? That's the first way to do it. Is I just illustrate to you Stack Overflow. If you don't have any way of solving that problem, then follow some of the suggestions by the community. Now those are all provided by the community. Right, let me just switch back to Anaconda Navigator. If you do recall, previously I did mention that you can actually tackle this when install it yourself. So I'm going to go over to environment and go over to not install and search for NumPy. Okay, here we go. I can find NumPy here. So what I need to do is select NumPy and then click apply. And this is actually telling you install package. Alright, it will go through this blue bar solving, and this following package will be modified. So it's doing that exercise of locating it and downloading it, and now it's actually asking for confirmation to proceed to install. So I'm going to just click apply, and now it's installing. Okay, as you can see, it's actually installing NumPy. Right, let that run for a while. Okay, well, so far looks like it's okay, and NumPy is no longer showing as not installed. If I switch over to install, it is here. Okay, it is already installed as NumPy. So let's go back to this. Okay, so let's run this cell again one more time to see if we still encounter the same problem. Alright, okay, this time around it's drawing out a different error message. It seems like, well, this is one of those no news is good news. It didn't throw out the fact that can't find NumPy. So basically that means NumPy has already been installed. So that's why that line of code runs safely without any issue. So that's really the lesson that I want to actually cover today. I know that for this portion, I know that this is quite a long lesson already to actually illustrate to you how to actually deal with errors and how to install. This is a step-by-step process. I hope that you bear with me. Ideally, at some point, you will be able to go through this very quickly. For now, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to install pandas, seaborn, and matplotlib. The background, when you come back, we should be able to run these cells without any issues at all. I'll leave that to you as an exercise to actually install pandas, seaborn, and matplotlib. And I'll see you next time in the next lesson. Thank you for watching. Installing pandas. So right now we just come to not installed under the environments and type pandas. Okay, and you can see here pandas. That's really what we actually want to install, and I will close it off for now. That is already there. So if I type pandas again, you can see that it's been selected. What else? I want to install seaborn. Alright, select that, and then matplotlib is the third one. Alright, so I've selected 3, so let's just apply. It's gonna search for pandas, seaborn, as well as matplotlib. These are the 3 main ones that I wanted to install in one go rather than doing it 3 times. Okay, so we can see that matplotlib, pandas, and seaborn. So let's just apply this and let it install these. Alright, the installation is done, so let's come back to install. Okay, matplotlib's there. Alright. Let's run this cell one more time and see if there's any errors being thrown up. Let's play this. This time all good. Finish running without any error being thrown out. So we are good to go. So let's have a look at a couple of things here. I'm printing the actual version so that you can actually see which version of Python I'm using, which version of NumPy I'm using, pandas, as well as the seaborn. Alright, so as you can see here, all the versions are being printed out. Okay, right.